I thought I would take advantage of this very rare moment of quiet in my house to share a story with you. That's kind of what Around the Hearth is about. It's about us sharing stories with one another, and though I usually do that through my writing, I thought it would be fun to do a video one. So, as you may or may not know, I've been working on a small chapbook of poems, and the poems are about a relationship, past relationships, and how I felt, the thoughts that ran through my mind at those times, and kind of how I feel about them now. And so throughout this process, I've been thinking about a lot of people over the past few years that came in and out of my life. And my friend wanted me to do this ladies' home journal competition, and it's a personal essay, and it's about a day that changed your life, or something like that. And it made me think of this young man, because he's not a boy, but his name was Neil, and he was my neighbor. And I was home from Wake, I think, already, and just checking my mail, and one day he came out and he waved to me, and then he came over and we started talking. And then later that day he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, and I said sure. He's a cute little boy, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm a sucker for blue eyes. And we just walked around the neighborhood. We talked about everything, about his family. Turns out he was Mormon from Utah. Had just come back from his mission, so he was staying with his parents now, who had just moved to Kansas. And we talked about books and religion and movies and art and life, the meaning of it, everything under the sun. And there was one night, he was at my house, we were sitting out back on the deck, it was nighttime, just talking about all those things that we always talked about during our walks, and he kissed me. Totally out of the blue. Unexpected. It was actually kind of like a movie, really. Kind of embarrassed to say that, but it was one of those things that, you know, just happened unexpectedly. And I kind of was too shocked at the moment to think much about it, but very shortly afterwards, he left, walked back across the yard to his own house. And then the next day he came and apologized to me. And after that, we still went for walks and had our long talks about everything, but it was never quite really the same. And then, you know, time passed. I moved, I think, into the city, and, you know, he stayed home, and we just kind of lost touch. And so I'm writing these poems, and I'm thinking about this day, the last time that I saw him. He gave me a book, Siddhartha, and we were sitting by a stream in a park towards the end of the summer or something, and just, you know, basically he wanted to see if I was interested in converting to Mormonism, which I was not, and I was pretty sure he kind of understood that. And so I'm thinking about this time with Neil, and I'm like, you know, it's such a shame that we couldn't be together, or wouldn't be together, not because, you know, I was a young black girl and he was a young blonde-haired, blue-eyed, very white boy, but because I didn't believe the same things that he believed. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if he really believed the things that he said he believed. And it kind of also reminded me about this election, and how divided people can become over ideology, and people get angry with one another, they lose their friends, they get mad at family members, and all for what? You know, life is kind of short, and I think it's just a shame that, you know, he and I couldn't have had something just a little bit more, just because I didn't share the same faith. I mean, it's so rare that you come along and meet a person who seems to get you on such a soul level, and to have that kind of taken away from you for really no reason. It's a very odd feeling. And so I know that there are a lot of people out there like that. There are a lot of people who lose friends, don't get married, don't have a relationship with people because of these dogmas and ideologies that we are raised to believe, sometimes, or usually really do believe in our hearts and our minds to be true, but we dismiss others who could be such an important part of our lives for these kind of silly reasons that no one can really explain or prove. So that's what I'm thinking about today. I'm thinking about how we close people out of our minds and hearts, and why we do that, and if we should, and what kinds of amazing experiences do we lose out on because of it.